In this segment, let's talk about the different digits that we have in the playing apparatus, namely the roles and the possibilities for the different fingers. But we'll start here with the thumb, the functioning of the thumb. The thumb, in the human hand, of course, is an opposable digit, which means that it can reach across and touch the palm, as opposed to like a gorilla, where the thumb is actually located on the side. But notice that each finger has 3 joints, movable joints. First finger joint, second finger joint, third finger joint where the knuckle aligns them. But that the first finger, the thumb, is situated quite differently, of course. It's receded back, and the first finger joint is here, of course, the second is here, and then the third is located back here, close to the wrist. Now, some of us might have never been exposed to this or been aware of this fact. So what will happen is that in your playing and in this exercise that I'll show you, you can wake up the joint and allow the thumb to articulate, to move from the proper place. In order to find the third joint for the thumb, you just want to start from where your wrist bones in the center and just go a little bit off to the left. And you can feel right there where the movement originates. And it's important to feel this because if you haven't actively sought it, chances are that in your playing, basically you've been articulating movement of the thumb from the wrong place. But the point is, if you feel there and you've never actively sought this point of origin here, you might feel a slight burning or tingling sensation, which is fine. You're waking up that muscle, so to speak. All right? So just go along the side here until you feel the base of the joint right there where it moves, and you might feel a tingling sensation because you're waking up the muscle. Alright, and what I'd like to point out next is the proper movement of the thumb in playing. The thumb, although it can swing across to the palm, should never in fact actually do that. The proper movement of the thumb for playing should be in a vertical, downward manner. Okay, so seen from here, it should be up, down, like that, not swinging across like this while playing. This is because that if you're swinging across the palm like this, first of all, it's expenditure of energy, which in fast passages you probably don't have the time to, the luxury to swing this back and forth like this. But also, if you're swinging across the palm like such, you've clenched up this side of the hand. And I don't know the physiological principle why, but you'll find that if you lock up this side of the hand, you immediately lock up the outside of the hand also. So again, remember, we talked about the fact that good technique should promote open joints. If you clench this side of the hand, you automatically clench this side and you immobilize the hand. So you never want to go to that extreme of locking up the joints, and then immobilizing the hand. That's the first thing. Okay, so make sure that in your practice you have enough awareness and you're actively watching that the thumb is moving properly in a vertical manner rather than swinging back and forth like so. And as a default resting position, notice that if you put your hands to the side, the thumb, when not playing in a resting position, should be comfortably nestled under the indexed finger like so. Not out here like this, because again, holding this fixed position causes tension in the palm, and you don't want that. You want it to be at rest, ready for action. So from a top-down position of view, the thumb should be almost under the index finger. Finally, again, I refer you to a great book called Chopin as Piano and Teacher, which includes not only descriptions of Chopin's teachings, but eyewitness accounts of his concerts and performances. It was a quite invaluable book. But I'd like to leave you with this visual picture, which I think is quite striking. So a observer noticed that when Chopin was playing, he likened Chopin's hand to the opening and closing of the jaws of a serpent. So you can kind of see that if this is the lower jaw of the snake and how it should open and close like so. And you should see that more or less opening and closing the jaws of a serpent. Take that as a visual to guide you during your practice and playing. Okay, so in future segments when we discuss jaws of the serpent, that is what we are referring to. The fact of the proper movement of the thumb should be in a vertical manner, and when at rest, the thumb should be almost nestled under the index finger. Next, we'll discuss the role and function of the other digits.